Alright, time to watch the alleged worst animated movie ever made, Foodfight. But, I mean, I've sat through plenty worse. I sat through Gaither's Pond and Dingo Pictures and Video Brinquedo and Sparkplug Entertainment, so I've been through a lot. How bad could this possibly be? Foodfight is often hailed as the greatest movie ever made. That is, if you're talking about movies that are bad. But hey, most movie reviewers are leftists. I know this is a fact. Bill O'Reilly told me so. This film is the brainchild of one Lawrence Kasanoff, who's mostly known for well-known and well-regarded films like True Lies, something called Mortal Kombat 2, and, the Bobbleheads movie.
Talk to us about Foodfight, the new award-winning animated feature.
Well, you see, guy with spiky hair Dex Dog Detective is in me and my butt. And one day I saw a squirrel in a tree. He was waving at me. Then I went home and I put on cat ears and then was like, wow, Hillary Duff, Mrs. Butterworth, Charlie Tuna. I voice a penis weasel.
Many people confirmed this movie was made after he saw A Toy Story and wanted to do his own version of that, but with food mascots, as a way to promote his own studio, Threshold Entertainment. He was even able to get a bunch of big names attached, such as Charlie Sheen, Hillary Duff, Wayne Brady, Eva Longoria, Christopher Lloyd, Chris Kattan, Cloris Leachman, Jerry Stiller, Ed Asner, Larry Miller, and even Chester Cheetah himself. Though unfortunately he had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts. Still, it didn't hurt matters that they had a $65 million budget at their disposal, with a release date that kept getting pushed back from 2003 to 2005 to 2007. Then, once the film's footage was stolen in an act of industrial espionage, this meant the movie had to be redone from the ground up. So using motion capture technology on the Xbox Kinect, they salvaged the film, which limped straight to video in 2012. Thanks, Obama! Whew, jeez, that's probably the most research I've ever put into one of these videos. Thanks, Wikipedia! So let's talk about what a lot of people are considering one of the worst animated movies of all time. This is Foodfight. So the movie begins at a supermarket called Marketropolis Market. Fantastic name, terrific. As a fan of small independent business, I approve.
Good night, Mr. Leonard. Don't work too late now.
Just closing up. Nothing much happens around here after dark.
So once the store owner, Leonard, closes up for the night, the lights go out, and the world that our main characters inhabit comes to life, as it seems this own universe begins to emerge with buildings, vehicles, and a sky inside the building. As we sway along the world, we get to see a bunch of characters that we are not going to come to love, like Stretchy Dragon, Terrifying Max Rebo Elephant, French Cheese Man, Frog King, 70s Disco Bat, Thalassic Pickle Stork, and Mr. Clean in his cinematic debut. For you see, the characters are called Ikes, short for icons. And yes, they are seriously called Ikes. We finally land on our main character, Dex Dog Detective, a dog man who dresses up like Minnesota Cuke, as he goes up against a bunch of karate-practicing naked mole rats and their leader, the Fat Cat Burglar, who is a rat. Because that makes sense.
Listen up, Fat Cat Burglar. I'm giving you one last chance to hand them over before I cash in your coupons for you.
Well, I hope you like puns, because this movie has a lot of them.
I had a raisin for every time I've heard that one. Got milk?
Do I look like the Dairy Queen to you?
Nice packaging! How about some chocolate frosting?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a spam.
Tell me something. Are those melons real?
You better go easy on the potato juice before you get chip-faced.
What the fudge?
I'm not the one who's gonna be puppy whipped. You cold-farted itch.
Just wanna be loved. Is that so wrong?
Oh, will you just look at that? Will you look at that? That's just so good. I really don't want to do this. Once Dex lands and everyone gives him a round of applause, we meet his best friend, Daredevil Dan, a biplane flying squirrel made of chocolate, in a role that makes Wayne Brady's performance in that Noah's Ark episode of VeggieTales look dignified, and you have no idea how much it pains me to say that. Not only does he speak in jive, but he also flails around awkwardly. Can you tell that this was animated with people moving using motion capture technology? It's just so seamless. The two of them discuss the prospects of Dex possibly proposing to his girlfriend, a cat woman named Sunshine Goodness.
One more thing. Will you be my best man?
This is... I didn't know.
Ew. I don't like the sound effect that those made. Can you imagine actually crying full-on chocolate chips straight out of your tear ducts? I mean, that just sounds painful. Can you imagine actually doing that? Ugh. Life like that sounds like HE double hockey sticks. You know that she's just the best of good girls because she's playing a game with kids. A game that involves kicking a watermelon around until it ends up hitting Dan in the face.
It warms my heart the way you love my raisins, tough guy.
Do they know that raisins, which come from grapes, are deathly to dogs? And for that matter, chocolate, which his best squirrel friend is also made out of? Call it a hunch. Call it a game theory, if you will. It's almost like this movie is incredibly stupid or something. So while having a romantic dinner, Dan messes up a smoke trail illustration in the sky, and then he crashes. Sunshine goes to check on him, ruining Dex's chance at proposing. But a little while later, Dex regroups with Dan, but Sunshine is nowhere to be found.
Don't worry. It ain't like it's the last time you're ever gonna see Sunshine again.
He's never gonna see her ever again, is he? Yep, thought so. Meanwhile, in the real world, this man, spasming all about like he's not even human, walks into the store and basically forces them to start selling his own products called Brand X. I think Elon Musk would like to have a word with you, sir. Ariel, that is not funny. And if anything, Elon Musk has more than the right to sue you for slander for saying something like that. No, why don't we just let bygones be bygones and get back to the movie?
It's practically addictive.
Okay, so first, you forced this company to sell your products without any real proper sense of business negotiation beforehand, and now you're destroying some of their inventory by stomping on a chip bag for no real reason.
No one wastes me chips and gets away with it. Brand X will pay. Arr.
So, it's been 6 months, and despite getting the occasional nightmare here and there, Dex has retired from detective work and has gone into running a nightclub called the Copa Banana.
Ha 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 ha! Let him go, Cheezel.
Dex, what a pleasant surprise.
Ew. What is that thing?
Not so fast, Mr. Detective. Wait. Perhaps you desire a companion for those lonely bachelor nights.
Is it supposed to be like a phallus of some kind with chicken wing feet? Or is it like a weasel made out of feces? What would this character even be an icon for? Some kind of toilet powder that you throw in the bowl once it gets clogged?
You despise me, don't you?
So we finally get to the Copa Banana nightclub. After seeing even more food mascots looking like they've fallen on hard times and had to appear in this movie for cash, like the California Raisins, Mrs. Buttersworth, Charlie the Tuna, and so on, we finally get a new icon in the place, Lady X, a rather seductive-looking woman with cold, dead eyes. The pirate icon from the chip bag that got crushed earlier gives her some guff about what happened, and this results in a... That is the thing that it's called. Once the fight dies down, Dan goes off with Lady X. Dex suspects that something is going on account of the various icons dying in the streets. Seriously, that's actually a thing that happens in this supposed children's film. He then suits up and goes back into detective work. Once he gets into the Brand X building, he shares a dance with Lady X, who ends up knocking him out because she was a bad guy this whole time. Oh geez, who could have possibly seen that coming? Imagine my shock. With all the icons freaking out at Dex's disappearance, Lady X begins to take over with her fellow Brand X icons who are dressed like Nazis.
Oh great, first this movie's a bunch of pro-capitalist propaganda with all the food mascots and the product placement. Now this movie literally is invoking fascist Nazi Germany imagery in this alleged children's film. I mean, seriously, was this made by literally Trump or something?
Oh, first the Nutcracker in 3D, and now this movie. What is it with these really weird, inappropriate family films that have Nazi imagery in them? Stop it! So while Brand X are going around engaging in Gestapo tactics all across Marketropolis, Dex and Dan wake up inside of a washing machine. I thought this was a grocery store, not some kind of big box Costco type place. Make up your minds, jeez. Anyway, they manage to escape in the nick of time.
They're building an entire army of robotic exobites.
What the heck is an exobite? What, these robot mosquito-looking things? Is that what it is? Is that what it's called? Why would you just casually name drop something when the audience has no idea what you're talking about?
Tell me what's an exobite?
See, even the movie's original trailer was questioning that. So after visiting with a rather offensive Jewish doctor character who sounds like this.
Why me? Why? Brand X? Why? No, come on. Why not, let's see, you, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Scholl's, Dr. Feelgood?
Oh my god. Dex and Dan work their way into the real world so they can send an email to corporate about the Brand X infestation. In other words, something that the owner of the store probably should have done much, much sooner.
The next thing you're going to hear to be the sound of me eating you for that lunch.
Let's strawberry jam out of here.
No, Larry!
I am full of sandwich!
Here I come to save the day! Looks like teamwork is laughing on the day!
They manage to give this old hag the slip, and they make it to the back office with easy access to a computer, as well as running across that 70s disco Batman we saw in the opening, who seems to have a thing for chocolate Wayne Brady squirrel.
Is that the enticing scent of rich, creamy chocolate? Are you chocolate? Are you made of chocolate? Really? That is so sweet. Hi. Oh! Vlad Chokul, chocolate vampire, used to have cards. Do you work out? I use the Thigh Master.
They send an email with this computer person I don't even know anymore, and they find out that 2 products have recently been recalled. One was Sunshine's Raisins, and the other was a prune brand. This will come into play later on, but for now, they managed to get the Brand X recall email out before the Nazis cut off the power. Okay, so does the power go off in the real world, or is this just for the icons too? Am I looking too deep into this movie? And from here on in, the next 35 minutes of this movie are just an ugly looking food fight.
Food! Fight!
Oh look, they said it again. It's the thing that the movie's called. Oh yeah, you gotta love how every food item that they toss down just explodes into the same splatter effect, just colored slightly differently. That's totally how that works. It's almost like this movie isn't very realistic or something. All that matters is that Dan successfully does a loop-de-loop, something that probably would count as character development if this movie wasn't terrible. Dex gets into the Brand X headquarters and rescues Sunset because of course she's still alive. They just had her locked away somewhere after all this time. They manage to escape before the building collapses, and then Mr. Clipboard shows up in their supermarket world, just go with it. And it turns out that he was a robot the whole time. A robot that was operated by Lady X.
But enough about me. Let's kill you.
That ain't his MO. Forget about it. He won't hit her. Not now, not never.
But I will.
Oh, look at you! Sunshine Chip slapped her back the ugly.
Gross.
All I ever really wanted was you. Well, you and world domination.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a spam.
I hate this movie so much. Well, I guess this movie did prove one thing. To quote dear old Ronald Reagan,
"Ugly people need to be destroyed."
You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife.
So Dex proposes, they get married at the Copacabana, we get a bunch of dumb bloopers, I guess you'd call them, scattered throughout the credits because they just want to drag this movie out as much as possible, and they even reveal that Dex Dog Detective was Jewish.
Dex is Jewish? Yeah, kosher.
Oh my god, movie, just stop. Just stop it already. Jeez.
So that was Foodfight, and honestly, it's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Who am I kidding? I can't keep this kind of contrarianism up. This movie sucks so bad. I mean, what really needs to be said that hasn't been said before? The animation, the character designs, the jokes, the characters, the plot, everything about this movie is bad. Because of this movie, the talking food movie subgenre has been lowered so low. Say what you want about VeggieTales, but VeggieTales is here. Foodfight isn't even here. It's not even at the floor. And shame on this movie for ripping off such a classic, iconic series like The Annoying Orange. Yeah, you think we forgot about that? I haven't forgotten about that. Talking food products in a grocery store? Yeah, you just went and stole from The Annoying Orange. And I will not stand for that movie. My personal recommendation, if you want an animated movie about talking food in a supermarket, I personally go with Sausage Party. Ariel, I thought we agreed we weren't going to say that in front of the audience this time. Come on. Just